Starting the recording because I am super excited to welcome you. It's officially called Escape to Yourself. I cannot wait for this session. I have been so looking forward to this. I am going to turn the time over so that we have as much time as possible to Lisa and to Kit to lead us through this exciting session. They do need us to jump on Pear Like the Fruit deck.
It's coming.
So the link is in chat. If you're just joining, the link is in chat. And join us there and get ready for I don't know what. It's gonna be crazy. So take it away, Lisa and Kit.
All right, hi everyone. My name is Lisa.
And I'm Kit, even though it doesn't say so.
And we're so excited that you're here joining us today. Please make sure you join on the pair deck. Let me see. I have 8 people connected so far. It does say students, so you are our students this session. We're both educators, so pair deck is something that we often use with our kids, but it's also really fun for adults to use as well. So I hope you have a great time using that today. Make sure you click on the link in the chat. All right, and you'll see one slide at a time. So as we go through the slides, you'll see the same screen that we're looking at. All right, so I actually don't need to share my screen then, since you all have that right in front of you then. Let's see, I have 12 people on, 13. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started.
That's me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Kit, and I started playing with escape rooms quite by accident. A friend asked me to look at her work, and I was like, ooh, this is exciting, because it has implications for education that are exciting and sort of get students to be more creative. And so I started playing, and I just keep playing.
And Kit asked me to help her out. Kit and I worked together for many years in the same school. Now we are no longer together, but we are still very good friends. And she asked me to help her out with this. I was really excited because she has shared some of the escape rooms that she's made with me. And we thought this would be a great way for people of all walks of life to kind of experience something and then see how you can use this in your own field or your personal life. All right. And if you just joined, welcome. Please join the link in the chat. So we'd also love to know a little bit about you, your experience with technology specifically. So we're going to do a quick little poll. It's on the Pear Deck. So if you haven't joined yet, you won't be able to participate. So please make sure you're on. So we're going to ask a few questions of you. So first is, how comfortable are you with creating a Google form? All right, and here I'm going to be able to, I'm going to share my screen quickly just so that you can see what everyone is sharing. You don't have to click enter, actually, it just automatically comes up once you choose your number. So here it looks like about in the middle. So most of us have some experience with it, but we're not super comfortable yet. Great. All right, so the next question is, how comfortable are you with creating a Google Side? Interesting to see as you as everyone selects their answers, how it changes so much. All right, so we're about a 4 out of 5 on average, so that's great. Many of us have some experience, but I see a few of you have not had experience with Google Slide yet. That's all right. All right, have you ever participated in an in-person escape room? Oh, about half and half. And finally, have you ever participated in a virtual escape room?
Wow.
All right, I'm really excited that a few people have, so that'll be really cool. If you get paired with someone who has, they'll be super experienced. That's awesome. All right. So here's today's agenda. We are going to be working in a team to escape a room. You're going to learn the steps after you've had a little bit of an opportunity to try to escape the room. We'll go through the steps to creating an escape room together. Then you'll work in a team. This is where the bulk of our time will be. So there'll be a lot of collaboration today. You're going to be working in a team to add, oh, we changed our idea, sorry. I forgot to change this. You're going to be creating your own escape room, and then you're going to have a chance to share and then also reflect at the end.
Calling all innovators and creatives, the world needs you. Carmen Sandiego has stolen creativity, and we need you to get it back. Are you ready to step into the world of the known and unknown, past and present? We'll have 10 minutes to work in small groups. We don't expect you to finish, but we'll have fun.
All right, so I just sent the link in the chat to the escape room. There are the directions also in the chat, and you're going to be put into breakout groups of 4 people. So make sure you're ready to participate with each other. And we don't want to tell you anything else, so go ahead and good luck. We'll see you in 10 minutes. All right, so welcome back, everyone. I see some smiling faces. Hopefully it's a good sign.
People with knitted brows, so I'm
And
not
some
sure.
frustrated faces.
Okay, that's not good. Did you have fun at least? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. Okay. So that was just a taste, and we'll spend a few minutes talking about, we're doing process now, right? So, wait, hold on. I've lost my mind. Give me a second. I have to get back in it. Theme. We're talking about themes, and that's sort of a central part of escape rooms, is finding a theme or a topic, if you will, that's going to run through your escape room. So I'm contrary to, the SIPSy way, sort of keep it simple when you have your theme, and then you can get more exciting, bigger with your locks and your content and the story. So, I mean, and a theme can be basically anything. So I did one based on the skills that students need for media library. I did one based on a book, and just did one based on an old TV show. So what are some themes that you would imagine yourselves using. Just unmute yourself, shout it out. Where
I was thinking about it for like team bonding and just being able to do something like themed on our organization or our peers, and clues related to getting to know your peers.
Employee orientation, find things around the building.
I work with a lot of food developers and designers, and so I was thinking, it would be kind of fun, like what's next by exploring a kitchen or finding the new ingredient in a kitchen.
Similarly, I work with a lot of grocery store companies, and I was thinking about getting them together and doing this in a grocery store.
I'm tingling. I'm excited. Gonna
So-
go start. That'll be the
Yeah.
next one.
That grocery store idea, especially after they remodel, would be great.
And I like that Sherry pointed out something that's familiar for all of the participants. So finding something that they all know about, or that they all need to know about for their job, and bringing people together. Like, this is not an independent activity. It can be really frustrating. I made my husband do this, and he was like, this is not fun by myself. I want to talk to people about it. They couldn't talk to me about it because I know the answers. So it's much more fun when you get to play with people and talk things out.
So we didn't want to stress her out too much, so we've included a few escape room themes.
And so you can kind of think about how what you just said, the content, would fit in with one of these themes. Oh, and we didn't actually tell you this. You will get this whole entire slideshow. You will get it at the end, so you will have access to it. So of course you can take notes, but you don't have to try to memorize everything. You don't have to take screenshots. You'll have access to it all at the end.
And bleh. You can also do a Google search and find at least hundreds of themes and rooms that are already done that you can use. Some of them you can edit. So you can sort of have a hybrid. Okay, so this is sort of the plan, basic plan for building an escape room. So content, think of that as the what. So it's your story, it's the situation, and you can present it in words and photos, use audio, and then you have locks. All right, Lisa, you have to help me again because in my mind, locks and keys.
It's also planning for 2 of these CPSI presentations. So I think that's what's going on too. So the locks and the keys go hand in hand, of course, because you need a key to open a lock. So first you think about what your lock is. So how are you protecting something? How are you protecting that the person to get to the next step? You have some kind of lock that they have to get through. So it could be something that's password protected, like a password protected document. It could be a quick quiz. It could be a spreadsheet. It could be a puzzle, like, an interactive puzzle online that they have to complete before they can get to the next step. And the way that they get to the next step is by finding the key, by finding the code to the password protected document, or by finding the perfect word that fits in to the puzzle. So whatever lock it is, the key has to go hand in hand with that. And And we just made a visual on the bottom so you can kind of picture how it goes from one to the next, and it cycles back around. So the whole time you have some content, you have lock, you have a key, and then at that point you can decide if you want to, put more content in. Like we had Carmen San Diego popping in and saying a little something again, and then you go through the cycle again. Any questions there?
Thoughts?
All right. So here are some tips for for creating escape rooms. So Kit she's definitely the pro here in terms of creating them. So we talked a lot about the creative process. We had a shared planning document for like months now that we've been working on this. So this is what we've put together in terms of what you should be thinking about when you're going to put together your own virtual escape room. First, you just want to get all your ideas out. That's so important. I know that's a big part of all the things that you're learning about this week and during this whole process is just get your ideas out. No idea is wrong. When Kit and I first started planning, we love Harry Potter. So we had a lot of Harry Potter ideas. We had all kinds of ideas. And even though we didn't choose all of our ideas, a lot of parts of our ideas ended up in this final version. Then you want to organize your ideas. So, group them together like, oh, this kind of goes with this goes with this. And then you can kind of scratch out some ideas that just don't fit in very well. Make sure you get organized. So we did a planning document just on a Google Doc, a shared document. And then of course, creating a folder on your own computer for when you're saving your pictures, things like that. You want to have a place that they're all going to be so you can easily access them. You can also use hyperlinks. That's a really great way. I don't know if you know the shortcut, but if you highlight what it is and you just do Control K will be a lifesaver. You can hyperlink anything if you use Control K. And it just makes your life easier. So you don't have to go searching for something again. You just can find it really easily. And then you basically start creating. Slowly but surely you'll get there. So just kind of one idea at a time. You start, you put things together. You can always move them around. You can always edit things, but just start. Other eyes. So like I said, my husband looked at this. Kit had friends look at it as well. I sent it to my parents. So get family, get friends involved. Just to do a quick check, make sure nothing is too frustrating, make sure you don't have any mistakes, make sure everything is in order. So that's a really important step. Because especially if you're working, you're at your job, you don't want, it to stop somewhere that you weren't expecting. So you want someone else to go through it. Just make sure it works. All right, and then 6 is finalize. So you should be ready to share it with the world at that point. Any questions here? Thoughts? Comments?
And if you're daring, you could just start with number 4. Sometimes I just go in and just start fiddling around, and because you can move the sections and you'll play with something and you'll get a thought and you're like, ooh, that would be really cool. And so you go off and do that, and then something else happens. And so you bounce around, and then you can edit so that it's seemingly logical when you're finished.
Ladies, can I ask a question here?
Of course.
My mind is blown. So let me just repeat and review. The two of you working together in a Google Doc created an escape room using these planning and implementation steps, and it's entirely your own and interesting, and it's designed to could be an icebreaker, could be a teaching tool, could be anything like that. On a scale of 1 to 10, me being a 0, knowing how to use a Google form. How hard is this to do? That's
Okay,
my question.
so truth, the first time I was playing in Google Forms and starting to work with this, it may have taken 4 hours. So I used a lot of YouTube. Like I watched one YouTube video like 4 times, piece by piece. And a lot of it also, I mean, I won't say it's a rabbit hole, but it's a rabbit hole. Once you get started and you get excited and the light bulb goes off and you're like, ooh, 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 ooh. And so you're doing like 6 or 7 different things and you're trying to bring it in. So it could take a while, but using YouTube to understand how Google Forms works, to me, was a very easy way to understand how Google Forms work. I mean, even if I watch the video 2 or 3 times, Google Forms is rather intuitive. It has a few persnickety parts, but it's not terrible. And
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you. That's
You'll find-
super helpful. Super helpful.
You'll also find Google Forms to be super helpful in your life in general. I used it when I was helping plan a virtual baby shower, for example. I use it for tests and quizzes all the time. I teach at the college level as well as at the elementary level, and I use it before every class to do a survey of my class. There's so many uses for Google Forms. So once you get comfortable with it, this is probably like the hardest thing that you could do with a Google form. So if you can do this, you can do anything with a Google form.
So they have a lot of templates and also Kit. Did you happen to choose one style of template as a kickoff point for your escape room organization?
Not really. I just wanted the plain form.
Yeah.
And I bounced back and forth. I did use some Google Slides in there.
You could incorporate a slide into the Google form. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I've never used the form, but it looks good.
Yeah. I use there's a tool called Snippet. I use that an awful lot.
Okay.
I use Word as well.
And you could just paste it in, you're saying, like a...
Yes.
Okay.
Google Forms likes PNGs. It's a portable like picture, so that's the extension it really likes.
Okay.
So you can put anything in that you can snip on your computer. So you can make anything a picture basically, and then put it into your Google form.
Okay. Thanks.
Oh. We have someone who's not familiar with Google Forms, so.
I was just about to respond in the chat to you. I definitely think, since looking at the data that we gathered at the beginning of class, a lot of people have some familiarity, and we're going to be jumping around once you start working to help out. But so let me switch to the next slide. I'll explain what we're doing, and then if you still have some concerns, we'll definitely make sure we come to your group first. So our task at hand is to work in a small group to create your very own escape room. This is collaborative. No one's trying to do this on their own their first time. You'll share some ideas for theme, content, locks, and keys. Try to come up with something that's easy enough that you probably all know a little bit about, so you're familiar with that content, like one of you suggested. That's definitely where you want to start. And then basically you're just going to work together to come up with the beginning of an escape room. It's just to practice the skill of creating the escape room. You can always use what you've done today, make a copy of it, and then use that to create anything else that you want. Even if you want to change the words around, change everything around, you'll still have, you know, the basics of an escape room. Just, you know, just to kind of start with.
Oh. Can we show them a Google form? Because I want to do a quick thing on response validation.
Yeah, do you want to share your screen, or do you want me to
Oh,
go-
I could do that. Yeah. All right. This came to me that I should probably. La, la, la. Mm, mm. So this is the back end of the escape room. And this is what a Google form looks like. And so Deborah, this is a slide right here. This is a Google slide. Yeah.
And I could see that you could just click that image icon and you could probably just add it that way, right? On the right-hand side?
Yes.
Okay.
So. Once you create, the plus sign is where is used to put in a question. And then once you do that, on the bottom, it says required. You move the toggle if you want your participants to have to answer that question before they can move on. And you need to hit the 3 dots. And well, because this one was time. So that's the type. And then you have to put in the answer on the line. That one was noon, right? So let's do this one. Okay. So the type was text, but you can change that. I found using regular expression is easier if you want it not to be so exact. Unless, of course, you make the error message where it says it has to be in capitals, or if it's something that doesn't matter, so if a participant typed it whether lowercase or in uppercase, it would still be the right answer. So that works there. You can also, so you can have a paragraph, multiple choice, up front, check boxes, drop down, all of that is way beyond me right now. I'm still in the short answer, paragraph, multiple choice. That's as fancy as I get. And let's see. If you want to add a little competition, you can give points. I don't do points because it's more about the experience. So those are just some back-end things. When you get more into this, you can use this to import other forms that you have into your document. This is for titles and descriptions. This is for pictures. This is for video. And this is for sections.
Kit, can I ask a question?
Of course.
So on this screen, like, was there, because our group got stuck on the Egypt screen, we couldn't get off of that page. So was there a reason why there was a remove the 4th letter or to spell phonetically, or was that just because that's how you chose to do it?
That was just the way I made the clue. So the answer was Hatshepsut, so Shep. And if you take the 4th letter out, you get Shep. So that was.
It's she, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious if there was some purpose down the line as to why those were asked for in that way. Okay.
Well, because remember, you're trying to like you need to create a clue, and that's just the way that clue was created. But you could change it. I mean, and once you have time and you go through the whole thing, well, if you get through the whole thing, yes, there's a master plan at the end. We ready to let them go off to work?
Kit, one more question. Do you need to use Google Forms or, because you know, in a lot of companies, they use Microsoft Forms and Teams and all of that stuff. Would it work in that same place?
I am not qualified to answer that question because I'm in Google land. I don't know if Microsoft Forms would work.
It would work.
I would imagine
Okay.
it would, only because Microsoft and Google are so heavily related, right? Connected.
Yeah, so if you use the equivalent, it would work just fine. It would work the same.
Okay, great, thanks. Because many of the people I work with, you have to use the platforms and systems that they're in, and many of them are just in Teams. You can't go outside of it.
Yeah. I think that probably like the most annoying part would be like recreating it if you already have it in a Google Doc and then having to recreate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they pay you enough money, okay, I'll spend the time.
Yeah. Chris?
Yeah, I wanted to just ask a clarifying question of Kit. So did you basically say you need to have the end in mind before you create it? Because, or I'm trying to figure out, do you create it as you go, or do you basically know where you want to end up and then you back out the steps? Is that what I heard you say?
Yes, and so sometimes you have a definite plan and you go from A to Z.
Okay.
And sometimes you start in the middle and you end up where you end up.
Okay. So like, let's just say you were doing an escape room that you were doing for your company's wellness plan, and the answer at the end was drink more water or something, right?
Okay.
So then do you back out the steps that, will lead you there? Is that kind of what you decide is what you want the final takeaway to be?
Well, I think if I were doing like a company plan, backwards design would work. So yes, drink more water. How am I going to get them to understand that?
Okay.
So then do you want to focus on the why? So like, would you have questions about health?
Right.
Or, like, are you doing like subliminal messages? Like, so you have all happy people who look healthy. So that kind of thing.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
and the answer could be like your endpoint can be so many different things, right? So like it could literally just be spelling out drink more water, and then each step would be it could always be health related, but it could always be like something that has to do with a D and then an R and then an I. And so you could do it that way, but like Kit said, you could do more like the reason why we do these things, and it could be a totally different ending. So it'll be based on what your experience and what they want as well, right? Like what they're asking you to come up with as you drink more water. Saw that. I love that everyone's already reflecting on how this is going to work for them in their careers. That's great. Anything else before we send you on your way?
Do we get like any sort of clues?
You're making them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can, like Kit said, when you guys came back, you will still have access to that Google Doc. If you want to finish our virtual escape room, you can definitely do that on your own time. But we really wanted to give you a chance to try doing it yourself. It's so much more meaningful when you get to actually experience making one. You'll see, like just getting behind the scenes and just testing it out.
So I think I made it so that you can share a screen. I've done everything that I know how to do while a meeting is in session. So I'm hoping that you can share screen in your groups. If not, I'm sorry, I can't. I'd have to stop the session, and I don't want to do that. And you're in smaller groups so that you can have less opinions.
Yeah. If that doesn't work, one of you can always create a document and send it in your group chat, and that way you guys can work together on a shared document. All right, I see some people have to jump off for a 2 o'clock meeting. That's no problem. Thanks for coming. We appreciated that you were here.
All right.
Have fun. Okay, now that you've had time to play with the forms, what are you thinking?
I think Krista's going to show us off. I'm not talking again.
I just as we really got on a roll, you picked us out of the rooms. I'm so mad at you.
I'm sorry. I'll have to get you some M&Ms.
This is a truffles. This one is a truffles. Just screw the M&Ms.
Okay. Okay.
I have a question, and it's more around, have you done this kind of work for people who might have some disability in their sight or in their hearing? Like, is it connected to some workarounds in that way?
When I create these things, I am always mindful of that. And that's why, well, not so much in this one, but in the one that I did for the youth, I tried to do video, I tried to do pictures, I tried to do some without words so that there is a mix.
Yeah.
If I could chime in, just because it's in Google, and I don't know enough about Microsoft Teams, because you're in Google, you have access to all the Google tools. So for example, you have the tool that reads you the question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are tons of Google accessibility tools,
right,
that have nothing to do really, that aren't intended solely for Google Forms, but you
Right,
have
right,
access to all
right.
of them
Yeah.
to use in this context.
Yeah.
And you'll have access to immersive, like for example, Immersive Reader will work with either. So you'll be able to use Immersive Reader, and that's something that not just reads,
Yeah.
but it can also
Yeah.
define, it can explain, it can do,
I asked that question because I know that we sometimes make assumptions that everyone in the virtual room that you might be working with are all on the same sort of field on how they can access or give information. So it's more of an awareness for people to be aware that you might have people that you're asking to do this who might not be able to go along, totally. Unless you build in, thank you, Laura, for saying that, you build in some other accessibility tools and that people are aware of them.
Thank you for bringing that up. And just coming back to, this is not something that people should really do on their own unless you know for sure that everyone is capable of answering all of the questions on their own. So definitely a really good teamwork, at least partner, but preferably, that's why we put you in groups of 4 to start out with, because we really, like, not everyone's going to know all the answers to these questions. Putting a group of 4 together, you have a higher likelihood of people being able to get through to the next step.
And that's also why I don't use points, so that people have, like, this one was on time. So you have time to go through it and, if necessary, break out Google. She knows a lot.
Yeah.
Other questions, comments, queries, insights?
You said breakout Google, she knows a lot. What? I missed that.
Oh, when you're in the escape room, if you get confused, you can always use your technology to find the answer.
Okay, gotcha.
Right, that was our disclaimers. Try not to use your technology, but you may run across something really hard and you're gonna need it.
Yeah.
right? Because that also brings up a point of context and making sure everyone has the same knowledge base, even aside from auditory processing and all those types of issues, but also experience and exposure. So, anyone like to share their idea or what they're working on so far?
I would be happy to share our groups, you know, what we
Martina
created.
shared ours.
Yep, we want to see them.
I think whoever goes can share screen.
Okay, I'll share if nobody minds. We'll
Go for it, Krista.
all right. There is. Okay. So actually, is this a good view of this? I'm going to go to the preview, and then maybe everybody could chime in on their answers and we can get there together. So we didn't use all the sections. Like we were trying to go back and use the sections, but we have kind of, it's only divided into like 2 sections. I do love now that I understand the capabilities of being able to hit next and work through each of the sections. So we are in a jungle. Our escape room is in a jungle, and we want you to find your way to where you need to be by looking at the clues below. So the sun is setting and darkness is on the way. Your batteries are running out in your flashlight. What type of batteries do you see? Do you need to see?
Oh, they're like the ones that you have in your flashlight, which could be any size depending on your flashlight.
Yes, but the type
C
of battery is in the
batteries.
clue.
Batteries. C.
Did someone say C?
Yeah.
I heard someone say C.
Excellent.
C.
But
Yay.
but my flashlights use A and AA. So what would happen if I put that? I'd have to go through until I got to C.
Yes.
Yes. So below your feet is a fruit growing out of the ground. Its top resembles a treetop, but the good fruit is underneath. It is where SpongeBob lives under the sea.
Pineapple.
Pineapple.
Excellent. So it's pineapple. You are headed toward a body of water. It's not a lake or a swimming pool. The answer can be found in the second clue.
The ocean.
Yeah.
C.
C, ocean.
Yeah. And if you put ocean, you would get a not right. Right?
C. Yeah, C.
Whoops. If I could spell ocean, you'd find out right away. My fingers aren't working today.
You wouldn't get right for Odin.
Okay.
Either, so
All right. So it's going to be C. You are alone on the island. How do you refer to yourself?
Solo.
Ooh.
in third person.
Well, put solo in there.
In the third
Okay.
person.
The queen?
You mean it's not Wilson?
Only one letter is needed.
Oh, I.
Okay, Wilson.
Hi, very good.
Excellent.
Oh, Wilson.
You are a great problem solver. You have all the letters you need. Where are you now?
Oh, so what was it?
Tipsy.
C.
Nice.
Tipsy. Oh, that was good.
Awesome.
Wait,
Excellent.
oh shoot, I want to get a screenshot of that.
Oh, hold on.
Oh,
Do it again. I could do it again.
Yeah.
Very good.
We adjusted that one where the multiple choices, because originally that should have been where you only have one letter for that to be for each of these.
Okay.
But you get the idea.
That's great.
Very nice.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Beth, is this like the best day, the best part of your?
That was so much fun. Did you get what you needed? Do you want me to submit it again?
I got what I needed.
Okay.
Oh. All the endorphins. I got the endorphins from that one.
Well, stop sharing.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Oh.
All right, we have 5 minutes. Does anyone else want to do a quick screen share?
I'll share ours. So I just want to start by saying we started by verbally mapping where we wanted to go, right? And what we decided was, well, we decided we want to have a stolen painting. And so, and to win, to finish the escape room, they had to find out what painting was stolen, where it was stolen from, who stole it, and where it is now. And the first person to solve those things got free attendance at CPSI next year. That's what they got. So we mapped out verbally this very nice path. Right? In Google Forms, we didn't get so far doing it, but I'll show you what we did so far. Hang on a second. I think it's this one, I hope. Tell me if it's not this one. Yes, get the art back. So that's, we started out with, that's the thing. And then section 2 is who's the artist. And we have a title and it says the name of the famous artist is something in the photo above. Who is it? Anybody?
Princess or queen? Princess?
Name of an artist.
Dolly.
Dolly?
What?
Dolly.
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 Ah,
Dolly.
very clever.
I think it's in, I can't answer it because I think it's in development place.
Yeah,
not
it's in
place.
creation mode or whatever.
So if they got Dolly, then they got to move to the next section. And this is where we stopped, is what is the painting? And it's going to be persistence of memory, the melty clock thing. And so we were going to have them give them clues to identify one with a clock and right, whatever. And I don't think we're going to make them remember the name of the painting, but or something like what's in this famous painting. And if they said, you know, but we stopped there. But the whole thing was, it was stolen from MoMA. It was stolen by the hot dog vendor outside MoMA. They took it to Buffalo, and we were going to take them a little like tour, like first on some side trips, like they had to go to Wings restaurant, and then they had to shovel snow or whatever. And then they took it to the Buffalo campus where it was hidden. We were going to hide it in plain sight somewhere. We weren't sure whether that was at the admissions office or in the art history department or in the studio. It was hidden there. And if they found it, then they called the art police and they wanted to go to CPSI free.
Oh my God.
Very cool.
But we only got one question listed on the actual form.
Okay, you got images.
Yeah.
Always the hot dog.
Is a superstar. I mean, yeah. I couldn't help at all.
That's not true.
Well, not with the
tech stuff. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, but the text stuff we did was in the last 3 minutes. All of the good stuff we all did together.
And now you have the form and you can finish it.
Yeah. So it was so fun. And I just by coincidence, Emma, our other person who had to leave, took these great notes about all the stuff that we thought about, and it's in chat. I didn't see it until just now.
Exactly.
Nice.
That's awesome. I unfortunately do have to run. I'm heading off on a trip, and I promised I'd be on the road at 2:30, so I do have to run. So I just want to say bye to everyone, but not that I'm kicking you off. So bye, everyone. Thank you. I had such a great time.
Thank you.
Lisa and Kit, thank you so much. I want you all to send me the links. This is so much fun. I am stymied. Popular spicy topping. I've tried hot sauce. I've tried pepper. I tried
salsa. What the Egyptian clue was actually.
Hatshepsut.
What about
pepperoni?
It's too hard.
It's so funny because when we were making it, we're like, these clues are too easy. When you don't have context, like it's not easy at all.
It was like I typed in Prego and it's like lowercase and I'm like, oh, capital P Prego. And it's like lowercase. I'm like, okay, ragu, lowercase. And I'm like, maybe it's something else.
Yeah, it's good to have people test. That's one thing that Kit was saying earlier. Have your family try it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I didn't hear the answer. What was the answer, the two-part answer for the Egyptian ruler?
Hatshepsut. And then she's carrying an ankh.
Yeah.
So
just
the,
not
so
set that up,
but-
so
that?
the words from the previous thing was the name first and then the Ankh, right? Okay.
Yes.
That's why I was asking that question about why were those specific answers the way they were to begin with? And I didn't get that from your answer, that we
Well,
could
I-
then use that.
I didn't understand your question. So
Yeah.
there's our miscommunication for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, it was,
Because I'm
so
thinking,
it was
who would
broken down
know
into,
shipment? So,
right,
yeah.
no, it was broken down into syllables so you could put them together. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Kit, and thank Lisa for us. That was fantastic. I can't wait to do this now.
The copy of the
Um,
presentation slides are in the chat. You'll see the under your parting gift. I just put it up, so that's the link to their presentation. So you have all of that. So grab that.
Thank you.
It's in
Thank
the,
you.
it's in
Come
the-
back tonight at 7 p.m. for the Friday nightcap recap and talk about all of the things that you've learned with people who may not have, may have missed some sessions. And then tomorrow it's our all day Spark session. What if with Donna and Walt?